Certainly, here's a first-person POV horror story set during a train journey. As I settled into my seat on the late-night train, a sense of unease washed over me. The cabin was dimly lit, and the rhythmic clatter of the wheels on the tracks was the only sound that broke the silence. The train was nearly empty, with just a few passengers scattered throughout, their faces obscured by the shadows. I had chosen this late departure, thinking it would be a peaceful way to reach my destination. Little did I know, this journey would be anything but tranquil. I couldn't help but feel that something was off as the train pulled away from the station. The air seemed colder, and a strange odor lingered. I glanced around, trying to shake off my unease. That's when I noticed the old man sitting across from me. He was hunched over, his face hidden beneath a tattered hat. His long, gnarled fingers clutched a worn leather suitcase. I tried to avoid staring, but something about him made my skin crawl. Every so often, he'd mutter something unintelligible, his voice a low, raspy whisper. I decided to move to another seat, but as I stood up, the train jolted, throwing me off balance. The lights flickered and then went out completely, plunging the cabin into darkness. Panic surged through me as I fumbled for my phone, using its feeble flashlight to navigate the cramped space. As I scanned the cabin, my heart sank. The other passengers had disappeared, leaving me alone with the strange old man. I could still hear his eerie muttering in the darkness. The train's eerie creaks and groans added to my growing terror. Desperate for answers, I cautiously approached the old man. "Excuse me," he turned his head slowly. "Do you know what's happening?" Revealing a face shrouded in shadows. His eyes were empty voids, and a wicked grin crept across his lips. "You shouldn't have come," he hissed. I stumbled back in horror, my mind racing. I had to find a way out of this nightmare. With my flashlight in hand, I made my way toward the cabin door, but it was locked. Frantic, I pounded on it, yelling for help. But there was no response. Suddenly, the train's movement grew erratic. It was no longer on the tracks. The violent swaying sent me crashing into the walls, and I could hear the deafening screech of metal against metal. It felt like the train was hurtling towards some unknown abyss. In the midst of this chaos, the old man's sinister laughter echoed through the cabin. "It's too late," he taunted, his voice filled with malice. With my heart pounding, I realized that escape was my only option. I pushed through the darkness, desperate to find any way out. Finally, I stumbled upon a small window. With all my strength, I managed to force it open, revealing the night outside. Without hesitation, I squeezed through the window, dropping onto the rocky terrain below. The train, now a twisted wreck, lay eerily silent in the distance. I ran, not looking back, through the desolate landscape. Hours passed before I finally reached a nearby town, where I could report the incident to the authorities. To this day, I can't explain what happened on that train. But one thing is certain, I'll never forget the sinister old man and the nightmarish journey that I barely escaped with my life.